right, guys, welcome to Movie Talk. I am Joe Zapata, and today's podcast is brought to you by Ace Sunglasses. Go to acesunglasses.com/AU. Did you get those Ace Sunglasses?
No, but I figure it's the best I had right now.
I have them here. I just didn't pull them out, but I got to show you guys. We got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about Hawkeye. If there's going to be a season 2, we don't know. Thunderbolts review. We guys all finally saw it. How to Train Your Dragon, and a couple other things we got lined up. But before that, let's introduce the new Avengers team. Dave, DC Calori, what's going on, Dave?
Yo, what's up?
And of course, another Avengers, Rob, the screenwriter, Alvarenga. What's up, Rob?
Hey, what's going on, man? Can't wait to get into this.
All right, guys. So let's talk first about How to Train Your Dragon. That's coming out this summer, and it's coming out June 13th. I did not see the animated. My kids, they saw it, they liked it, but it's going to open at 75 million. That and it's supposed to be pretty good. That's for 75 million for that. Are you guys shocked by that, Dave? Maybe you can go first. Do you think it's going to do well in the movie theater?
Well, I'm shocked at the handbrake turn we just took. I thought we were going to do Thunderbolts first, but okay.
Save the best for last.
I really liked. I like the original. I liked it a lot, and I think it still holds up. I'm excited to see this, mostly because on the strength of what the original was. I'm not really to do well because most of the DreamWorks stuff tends to do pretty well because DreamWorks also gave us all the Despicable Me stuff. So I think overall it'll probably have a strong opening weekend, and then if it's good, it'll have a strong run. And if it's not, then it'll just have a really big drop off.
Okay.
The only thing that I really kind of miss is Jay Baruchel being the voice. I don't know who the actor is, but I think his voice lent a lot to just the overall, like, just the character, just his vulnerability and like his kind of squeaky squirreliness. So that's the only thing I miss, but that might not even be a factor for anybody.
Okay. All right, Rob, what about you? You excited about this movie, 75 million opening? You going to see it?
I am going to check it out because I am a big fan of the animated trilogy, actually. And that 75 million number, I'm not really always surprised, to be quite honest. I mean, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's probably going to be the first major family event movie of the summer. And those movies usually do well, regardless of whether it's animated or live action. And being that mostly these family movies have been coming out in live action and remakes, it's drawing in nostalgia versus trying to bring in the new fans. So it's actually, I mean, again, 75 million, I didn't think that, but it kind of makes sense. And honestly, I mean, if you've seen the trailer, I mean, they really put work into this thing. And to capture, what everybody loved. They love Toothless, the human characters seem not too cartoonish-y, and there might be some room for improvement in the live action. So I think it's set up well, to be quite honest, and I'm going to check it out.
Okay. Well, I think it's going to do well in the movie theaters, to be honest with you. So, because the kids are going to probably go run and see it. But we'll see. Wait and see. June 13th, I think, it comes out. Now we switch gears a little bit so we get closer to the Avengers. We'll save the Thunderbolts, the best for last. Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner. He's an original OG, right? He got, I think, about 3 million for the first Avengers. Then I think Age of Ultron got 6. Then I believe he got somewhere between Civil War was about 12, maybe, and then finally at Endgame he got 16 million for that. Hawkeye season 1, I believe he got like 13, maybe 14. They was reporting. I'm not sure exactly. They didn't disclose how much, but he was offered Hawkeye season 2. Now, they said, and Jeremy Renner, he has a thing that says that there was a shocking that he was offered half the amount of money. And I thought, well, maybe it's going to be a cameo then if it's half the amount of money, but it's not. I'm putting in a full day's work. It's going to be working for 8 months. Rob, I'm going to start with you. He's been an original, OG Avenger. You think it was an insult that they offered him this job? Half the money.
I don't blame him. I think it is an insult because if you're going to do a Hawkeye season, starring Jeremy Renner, you got to pay the guy. The guy,
Yeah.
he's basically he's a founding member of the franchise, of the Avengers franchise. So, what this tells me, to be quite honest, is that Disney, Marvel, they're not all the way in on making the season 2 to begin with, and this is kind of like they're out to try and have him say no, so that they don't have to do it. And it's not hard to tell. Just look at how the shows are set up right now, because I think now they've seen success with Daredevil, so they probably just want to keep it to like a recurring type of situation, on the TV side. And the movies we're in the multiverse saga. I'm not sure, there's a place for Hawkeye, or at least, in their plans. So, to me, it's messed up because I don't think they had to do it this way. They could have, done a season 2 and just have like a sort of a send off, even if it's a cameo, but at least something, work it out. Don't make it like, just give a intentional lowball type of offer, knowing that, what, he's going to say no. We want him to say no, so we don't have to do it.
Yep. This is not a small studio, guys. It's a big studio. Marvel's a big studio. So, Dave, I was going to ask you, what did you think about this offer that he got and everything that's going on with Jeremy?
Yeah, Disney and Marvel are giving him the runaround. It's ridiculous. Like, you would think with the year that he's had, if anything, the interest level in him is possibly higher than it was before. After his accident, he was all over the place doing interviews and things. People wanted to talk to him, see how he was doing, interested in his recovery. So this could, I think, conceivably be his first like actual big comeback thing that he would do. That's something very physical and something that he's very well known for. I do like that he didn't really blame. He's like, it's not Marvel, it's not really Disney, it's like the bean counters, it's the accountants, trying not to put it all on the studio. And again, this could be a negotiating tactic, like come back with something better. It could force a rewrite. Who knows what kind of role he would have, because I'm pretty sure they're trying to transition into Kate Bishop being more of like the actual Hawkeye. I don't know if they fleshed enough of that out in the first season to just have a season 2 without him.
Yep.
But I would like to see a season 2 happen, just because I think there's still a little bit of a story there, and just end it after that. But it's really, I think it's a little too early to tell. But he even said, he's like, I'm just asking, pay me the same.
Yeah.
It's not like he's asking for more money. Like it's one of the most reasonable contract asks ever. Just pay me the same thing you did on the first one.
Yeah, and that money would still be more than any of us would make in a lifetime. But but still, do you think it'll be done? You think they'll get it done? They'll sign it.
I honestly don't know, only because I think I recently also saw, not that it matters and not that it was, I don't think it was going to go anywhere, but Oscar Isaac said he wouldn't be returning for Moon Knight in any capacity. Not that they can't get someone else to do it, but I think with some of this stuff that's like a little bit middle of the road, even though Hawkeye himself has been an OG. I don't know what story they want to do with Kate Bishop. So if it doesn't happen, they could possibly shoehorn it in somewhere else down the line. So if it doesn't happen, I don't know if anyone's going to be really upset. But
Rob, did you like the Hawkeye series?
I did. I thought the chemistry between Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, the characters, it worked. They embraced Hawkeye's age in that series. Had a hearing aid, all that stuff there. So it's not like he was going to be long for wherever Marvel was taking the character. And I agree with Dave. I mean, it did not end in a way where just like the torch was officially passed on to Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
They teased the whole Young Avengers thing, which I'm guessing that's where we're gonna see next Kate Bishop, because if this thing falls apart, I agree. I don't think they're gonna do it if Jeremy's not in it. So it. I don't know. I got bad vibes with this. I would like to see his character arc, completely, you know, done the right way. A good,
Mhm.
like a really good send off. He deserves it.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
just these rumors, whether true or not, it's true. I mean, that's not really officially confirmed. These are rumors. Could be something that's as far as the tactic goes, but it's just bad juju surrounding
Yeah.
this whole thing.
Dave, did you like Hawkeye this season? Did you like the season
Yeah, I
one?
thought it was pretty good, and it was interesting. I mean, listen, we just had a whole season of Daredevil that if you didn't really watch what happened to Kingpin in Hawkeye, you'd be like, how did we get here?
Mm-hmm. That's
So
true.
it definitely tied some stuff together. I think it had promise, and it was an interesting way to introduce a new character who could conceivably be a fairly large part of the MCU going forward. So
Mm-hmm.
um,
Okay,
wasn't
well, wait.
amazing, but it did. I think it did the job it needed to do.
Yep. And Marvel set the bar as far as with the money. They said this is how much they're going to pay him. You can't really go backwards because you set the bar, so
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. So we'll talk about
especially if
more.
RDJ is getting whatever he's
Yeah,
getting. He's getting an
he's getting
island,
He took all the money.
airline. He's getting whatever he's getting for Doomsday. Like, come on, man.
yeah, he's getting a ton of money. So now we'll switch gears and go to the best for last, the Thunderbolts or New Avengers. I don't know what you want to call them. I got to see it late last night, but Rob, Dave, maybe Dave, you start off first because you saw it first. What did you think about this movie? Did it hit on all cylinders for you? Tell me, what do you think?
I thought it was excellent. It was very story and character driven. Um, I think just like the real basic stuff. David Harbour, some real big dad energy, and had great
Mm-hmm.
chemistry with Sebastian Stan, Bucky.
Mm-hmm.
I think Florence Pugh does all the heavy lifting in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like you may think that those two guys kind of drive it. I think she was the centerpiece of this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was just good. I thought it was really solid. And at the end of the first mid-credit scene where Red Guardian is in the grocery store talking about his cereal, the Wheaties box, and the lady walks away, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
put my Wheaties box," and then like the camera's pulling back and the Starship song starts playing. Like I wanted to stand up and high five somebody. Like I just felt good. It just felt good. I was really happy with what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah.
post credit scene, I won't talk about it just yet, but the post credit scene finally felt like it was leading up to something that we cared about instead of being like, well, let's throw this at the audience and see what they think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could see a Red Guardian movie standalone myself. I think he's so funny. He's a great character. I mean, I would love to see that. I'd pay for see that. Rob, what
I
did you
would say
think?
that too. And
Yeah, right.
I think Black Widow is a far better film than people give it credit
Me
for.
too. I like Black Widow a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Rob, what did you think about Thunderbolts?
I loved it. I actually saw it earlier today, and it man, there's a lot of just like real familiar like phase 1 through 3 kind of vibes with some of these moments in this movie. Um, I mean, first of all, I mean, kudos to there was a true theme that really for me it hit. I mean, you got all these characters that had if people gonna compare it to Suicide Squad, it was a just completely different take, and there was a theme about just loss, loneliness, mental illness, health, that
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing, and with the character Sentry, which
Yep.
I mean, that's Bill Pullman's son, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought he killed it.
Mm-hmm.
He because there was a lot of complicated things that um Florence Pugh just worked off that character, like those two trying to connect and trying to like kind of heal each other
Mm-hmm.
in a way, towards the end, that climax. I mean, I don't know if either of you guys felt it, but usually with these like Marvel movies, that's just like super huge, like big baddie fight at the end, and it wasn't like that. It was a complete different take, but for me, it was like satisfying. Like what, that is how you win.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so for me, once that moment happened, when that's when like the team actually really came together, and you felt like, what, everything that they've done up to this point was earned. It was
Mm-hmm.
exciting, man. I mean, David Harbour stole every scene he was in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I honestly, the only nitpicks that I had really with the movie was just, you know, Bob's transition to Sentry. You
Mm-hmm.
know, seemed a little rush at the end, like just to get to the fight. But outside of that, I honestly, it's one of the better Marvel movies that I've seen in a long time, which is what I was hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
And given the reception it's been getting, you know, a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah, I love the movie. I thought it was great. Dave, I want to ask you and Rob. The only issue I had was, did they do Taskmaster 30? Taskmaster, I mean, you know, like it's like, you know, it's an Avenger, but you know, that's the only problem I had. I wanted to see that character more.
Yeah, you know, I think if they had done Taskmaster better in Black Widow, it may have
Mm-hmm.
played out a little bit differently. But I did hear that the director wanted to have that happen so early on in the film, so it gave the audience the notion that like anything here is possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I didn't feel like anyone was in any real peril for the rest of the movie,
No.
which was also fine. Like I don't think it took anything away from it. So
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, Taskmaster could have been a cool addition, but because they didn't really develop that character enough
Yes. Yep.
in Black Widow, it's like it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like when Slipknot died in the first Suicide Squad. Well,
Oh yeah, yep.
oh well.
You're like, oh well. Rob, how'd you feel about Taskmaster?
Um, honestly, I mean, I felt bad, but I actually laughed out loud in the theater when that happened because for me, it might have been it might as well have been just Kevin Feige pulling the trigger, be like, look, guys, I'm sorry, I screwed up Taskmaster, but so I'm gonna just get rid of this. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
to see anymore over here. Just sweep the body under the rug and let's go on with the rest of this movie.
Give Jeremy Renner the rest of her salary.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go.
Now they changed. Obviously, they changed the title of the movie to New Avengers. Now I've heard already through a couple people have told me, obviously, their name is going to be changed when they have a conversation with the real Avengers, either in Secret Wars or Doomsday. It's going to change to either Secret Avengers or Dark Avengers. You know, I've already heard that from numerous people telling me. I don't know when or whatever, but it's going to change. Dave, what do you think was the reason for the change of the title for the Avengers?
I just think was something to kind of get people hyped up. Like everyone was talking about what's the asterisk? What is it? Does it
Yes,
actually mean anything?
we
And
talked about it.
everyone was held up on is it Thunderbolt Ross, right?
Mhm.
And they even brought him up in the first, I don't know, what was it, 15, 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Um, because the movie was so good and it hit all the right beats, did all the right things, and it did not end with lasers in the sky. Like it was not a big punch up at the end, but it made it more impactful because they actually had to come together and do something that didn't really rely on their powers. Not that
Mhm.
any of them really have any powers except for Walker and Bucky, right?
Yep.
It showed them coming together as a team they don't really know how to be a team yet. So I
Mhm.
don't really care what they're called at this point.
Mhm.
If they stay the Thunderbolts, cool. If they stay the New Avengers or Avengers with a Z, or they
Mhm.
turn into the Dark, whatever it is, it's fine, totally fine.
Okay.
If you can keep the chemistry of what they have going now, fine.
Okay. Rob, what did you think of the name change?
I actually, I thought it was actually a pretty cool twist
Mhm.
because in watching the movie, when I was trying to stay away from the spoilers going in, even though I got to see it a little late, but I managed to make it into the theater when they actually revealed them as the new Avengers. For me, it felt like, wow, you know what? It's true. It's been a long time since we've seen a team like that could be even called Avengers, whether they're the real ones or not. The fact that they use that name, to call this team, I thought first of all the reaction in the movie was awesome because all the press is like, yeah, huh, whatever. No, I don't
Mhm.
think that's going to work at all. But I think it was good. It was a good decision because it's part of the lead in to the new Avengers movies. It's
Mhm.
like it's reminding you, like, hey, don't you guys miss the Avengers?
Mhm. Yep.
Because I know I do,
Mhm.
and I think that's what they're banking on. And so when they use that at the end of the movie, I thought it was a stroke of genius. I'm not trying to hype, the
Mhm.
decision on it, but I thought it was really cool because for me, it hit. I'm like, you're right. Damn,
Mhm.
I need some Avengers.
Mhm. Dave, I also heard, the haters, they come out, they're saying the name change was done because the box office was a little bit low. So to bump up to week 2, that's why the name changed. What do you think about those? You know, the
I'm almost positive that is a bunch of nonsense. What was I going to say? Well, they made such a point of saying the Avengers aren't coming.
Yes.
Like they made such a big point of saying the Avengers are no more in the beginning, and talking about how it used to be Avengers Tower and all this stuff. I think I could have sworn I saw that for the weekend worldwide, this made like 165 or 170 million dollars. Like it almost made back its budget in the opening weekend worldwide.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's really great.
In this day and age right now, that's really good. So I think this was planned out way before.
Oh yeah.
I did notice the interesting thing was I did notice originally they had the asterisk was six spokes. And then as I got closer to release, it was down to 5, which is why most people thought Taskmaster wasn't going to make it. But I think a lot of this was planned. I mean, listen, we saw Kevin Feige construct the MCU from Iron Man 2008 all the way to Endgame, and we thought this man was a genius. So to think that this little title change wasn't planned out like 6 months ago, come on, guys, what are we doing? What are we talking about?
I noticed in the beginning, the opening credits, you know, the Marvel beginnings, it's not like the original ones where the past ones, like in Cap, where they do the scenes from different movies and stuff. It was just playing. So it seems like it's a reboot of everything starting over now. You know, that's what I noticed, that the opening scroll.
It was the actual comic book art.
Correct.
And then I was trying to see, I was trying to see if any of it was like X-Men or stuff that we know is coming. So I couldn't really tell because it goes by so fast, but all the movie stuff was gone.
Yep. So the other post-credits scene, obviously the Fantastic Four are coming. We got to see that coming. And I kind of figured that was going to happen. Rob, what did you think about seeing the Fantastic Four ship coming in?
I thought that was awesome, actually, because it's funny. It's like, you know, I probably should have known that was what we were getting, but it just kept delaying that post credit scene, like to the very end. You know, they were doing the usual, like, you know, Thunderbolts, you know, banter here and there, whatever, and they kept mentioning about this starship entering the atmosphere, and you know, most likely, So I was thinking, you know, there's a chance this might actually be Galactus's ship. But you know, I was like, will they go there? Whatever, they have to, you know, they're gonna save Galactus for the Fantastic Four movie. But still, it's just the build up, seeing that 4, man, you know, it gave me goosebumps. And it's been a while since you know, a post credit Marvel scene has done that. And for me, it just reinforces the fact that I'm super excited for Fantastic Four.
Yep. David, did you like the post-credit scene with the Fantastic Four? Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, so it's interesting because apparently it was directed by the Russo brothers.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it wasn't directed by I forget his name. I'm sorry, the guy who did the Thunderbolts. But yeah, so the Russo brothers directed it. Definitely has a different feel to it, but it almost had you know, like the beginning of Endgame when everyone's sitting around talking, trying to figure out what Thanos is. It had that same feel. So it makes me feel good about what the Russos have coming for Doomsday and Secret Wars. But I think it also gives us an idea of what to expect at the end of the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Whether they defeat Galactus or whatnot, there's a good chance that even if they win, that timeline or their dimension or whatever they can't stay there. That's how they make it here. So, like Rob said, it's finally something to look forward to, like actually exciting. And I said on this show a while ago that I feel like they're going to have to shoehorn a lot of stuff in for some of this stuff to make sense by the time Doomsday gets here. And I kind of don't feel that way anymore. I'm more excited than skeptical at this point.
Yeah, people were saying, "Oh, Marvel's back," but I thought they never really were gone. I mean, they had Deadpool and Wolverine. They had they had a couple of Born Again, Daredevil, Born Again was good. They had a couple good. Even Cap was good. People are underrating that, but you know, we'll see what happens.
Well, because no one wants to see them win anymore, I guess. And it is tough. It is tough when you have, you know, 2 or 3 of like the top grossing movies of all time.
Yep, yep, that's
So
true. All right. Well, I mean, I think the movie's going to end up pretty well. I think it's going to do really well financially. Still, everyone go out and see it. Thunderbolts is a great movie, so we recommend it. Highly recommend it. Now, guys, I'm going to answer some. We got some questions that came into the mailbag, into the mail. So I'm going to answer some questions that came in. All right, they came in from all over the place. I got a lot of questions. Some were really crazy, actually. But I just picked out a couple that I saw.
Rachel.
We got one from Steve T from Montvale, New Jersey. He says, "What's up, fellas?" He says, "Screenwriter Rob, I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. Do you think they will ever do a sequel or reboot?"
I hope you answer this the way I want you to.
Oh no, there is only one answer. The answer is no. And I would never want to see that. Every so often, maybe there's a movie out there where, you know what, maybe a reboot or remake is called for because the original just doesn't, it just doesn't carry, from way back when. It doesn't age well. But
Mhm,
like I said before, Back to the Future, the original Back to the Future is so rewatchable. I
mhm,
mean, seriously, you see that thing at any point in that movie, if that thing's on whatever streaming service you're on, it happens to be on actual cable TV,
mhm,
you're gonna stop to watch it. That's the movie's that good.
mhm,
And it's one of those rare, in my opinion, masterpieces where it's like, I think Robert Zemeckis said it best. He's like, no, as long as I'm alive, I don't want to see it happen. You know what? You know what, Bob? I'm right there with you, man. Don't do it. The movie's
mhm.
perfect. It doesn't need a remake. If
Yeah,
for the new generation, listen, go find Back to the Future. It's not hard to find and
yeah.
enjoy.
So if we went back to the future, let's say, so it happened today, 1985 going back to 1955, that would be us now going back to 1995, correct? Yep.
Yeah,
So
nice.
not too
Checks
much
out.
of really the technology changed a lot, but no flying cars still. Nothing, no
Liars.
flying cars.
Yeah, we got robbed on that one.
No, Dave, do you think they would do a reboot or sequel anytime soon?
No, and Rob, he said it at the end. Is like they're not going to do it as long as Zemeckis is alive, because I know
Yep.
both him and Bob Gale have been vehemently opposed to having it happen. Um, so, but even if both of these guys unfortunately were to pass tomorrow, and all of a sudden you could make it happen, I wouldn't want to see it. Like it's
Yeah.
just lightning in a bottle. Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. Like, what are you
Mhm.
what are you going to do? Anything that you would do, I feel just turns what it was into a caricature of itself.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
just don't think it plays the same way. Now, if you were to, the only way it works again is if you either change the time travel, like make it further, like if it was now going back to 1955, but that's still
Yeah.
silly. And then
Yeah.
then you just set it, you reboot it, and you just do it in 1985 again. But then, well, we already have the original, so what are we doing?
Exactly. And Michael J. Fox's condition, he would not be able to come back at all. I don't think. Not that his
No.
condition is pretty bad. So, but I did hear it interesting. Someone did mention that they had written a script, and it was actually Michael J. Fox's sister in the movie. Her kid actually takes over the role as the one goes back and forth in future. And I don't know what happens. And I think it meets up with Christopher Lloyd's kid from the train or whatever. I don't know how it works, but the interesting concept on the script. But I don't think it's going to be done.
You
Not at
know
all.
how it works. It's the flux capacitor.
I say it all the time. It's a flux capacitor. Anything wrong with the car, the mechanic, I'm like, flux capacitor. All right, we got another question and says from Mark W. Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Says, "Hi, Jay-Z, Dave, and Rob. Love the quiz show part. My question is, what are your thoughts on the new He-Man movie coming out? Jared Leto as Skeletor sounds interesting." All right, Dave, what do you think about the new He-Man movie? I'll let you answer that first.
Interesting is a nice way to put it. Outside of 30 Seconds to Mars and My So-Called Life, I don't like anything that Jared Leto has done in quite
Mm,
some time.
yeah.
But from everything else I heard about the He-Man movie, I can, if it's done well and everything, if all the other casting I've heard about is legit, I can overlook it. Again, if the writing is good
Hmm.
and the story is there, um, I think it could be good. I liked how Kevin Smith treated the animated He-Man thing that he did.
Yep, that was good.
So it's possible to do it well.
Okay.
Just don't do Morbius again.
Or even the Joker. I wasn't crazy about his Joker.
Right.
Rob, what did you think about the He-Man? What about this question? From
I'm approaching this with cautious optimism. I think Kevin Smith was onto something with his revelations. The key to this movie is, one, you got to honor the source material. Okay, so you got to go all the way back to the anime, so you got to know what you're dealing with this world. And then the second thing is that you got to be able to really embrace this world. Don't give me He-Man in New York. We done that with Dolph Lundgren. Let's not do that. Go into Eternia and show me something I've never seen before. Throw some He-Man fighting Skeletor there, and you got a basis for a good recipe right there. So I'm hopeful that's what the approach is. Don't give me anything this Banana Republic kind of like deal. So just give me something good and embrace what you have, because He-Man, there's a lot to explore in He-Man, and you just got to be willing to do it.
Wow. And Man at Arms is being played by Idris Elba, I think, right? Did you hear that?
Yes, I did hear that.
That's gonna be pretty interesting. Yeah, we'll wait.
We've seen fantasy done well with Game of Thrones. An often overlooked movie, I think, is Reign of Fire. But think about the aesthetic of that movie. Like that could work for He-Man if you did it right.
Yeah. Well, but the power of Grayskull. We'll wait and see, We got another question here. Beth F from Queens, New York. She says, "Hey, tough guys, here's a good question. What movie made you cry? Keep up the great content." All right. What movie made you cry? That's easy. That was E.T. That's the one I was drip drop crying when in E.T. What about you, Dave?
There's a movie that still probably makes me. I haven't seen it in a little while. There's two animated movies. One is Big Hero 6.
Okay.
That gets me at the end every time.
Okay.
And Lilo and Stitch.
Okay, Lilo and Stitch. Wow. Pretty good. Rob, what about you? What got you emotional?
All right, I'm gonna lose fans with this one, but it happened because I just wasn't ready for it. Okay. All right. I'm sorry, guys, but I was on a date and I went to see Titanic, and and look, man, that whatever movie, okay, but the moment that Rose tries to jump back into the ship for Leo, I'm like, man, the girl I'm with is not going to want to do that.
Did you elbow her? Is it bad? Would you do that?
Like serious? Come on, that hit me. I'm like, damn it, that's a really good woman, man. I need that. It made me cry. Sorry, it's a true story.
Last time Rob will be on the show. Okay, I can see it though.
Never let go, Jack.
Don't let go, Jack. Oh God, I'm gonna cry right now. We got one more question here. Roger S from Nanuet, New York. He says, "Hey, Jay-Z and team, who is your favorite actor or actress of all time? P.S. Love your wrestling interviews, Jay-Z. Or any chance you get the Undertaker?" No, I will not be getting the Undertaker anytime soon. He's with the WWE. Favorite actor or actress? My favorite actor might be either Daniel Day-Lewis or Denzel Washington. Actress, I was very, Kate Blanchett was always really good. I liked her. What about you, Dave?
That's actually really difficult because I've seen. I don't even know if I have.
You don't have
any actual favorites because I don't know. It's
good ones.
I hate to say like cliche or whatever, but like if the stories, someone I always was entertained by was definitely Wesley Snipes.
Okay.
Like I don't know, he's definitely not my favorite, but we're going back to Why They Can't Jump, Blade, even the not so great Expendable movies. Like when he's there, he's there. Yeah. Like he's never phoned it in for me, and he's always been very entertaining.
Okay. All right, Rob, what about you? You have someone you enjoy?
I do, actually. For the longest time, it was Sean Connery. But yeah, but I would say, as time passed, and my favorite actor, even though he had, short run, he passed away. But if you look at the work of Chadwick Boseman, I mean, just any movie this guy, talk about, making you feel like, emotions. This guy has a way to convey everything about the character he's playing, and then make you just draw you in. And just, the one movie that, one of my favorites I always watch with him is 42. Talk about emotional movie. I mean, so
good.
yeah, Chadwick Boseman for me, I think, the more I think about it, I think he is my favorite.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. We're coming to the last part of the show where we're going to name that movie. All right, guys. And so I'm going to start off with, I'll start off with Dave. I'll start with you first. All right. So let me just get everything lined up here. So this movie came out in 1985. Okay. And these group of teenagers got together and they started doing more movies together after this movie. And they got together recently for a picture. Here is the picture.
Oh, Breakfast Club.
Yeah, that's right. You're a Neo Maxi Zoom Weeb. You got it. You got it. It is the Breakfast Club. Very good. All right, Rob, your turn. Ready? Here we go. This movie came out in 1987. Okay. It starred a professional wrestler. Became a very famous movie. They got together. The wrestler actually passed away, but here is the picture.
Oh my God, Princess Bride. Yes.
Princess Bride.
Yes.
Very good. All right. Nice.
Yes.
But very good. All right. Easy one there for you. All right. Dave, I'm going to give one for you. This one right here came out in 1987 also, but there was many sequels to this movie because it was so good in 1987. And that's the only one I'm going to give you. Here's the picture.
Oh, Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon.
You're still not too old for this shit.
Yes. So I have one more too. Where I'm going to give you, Rob. I'm going to give you this one right here. This one came out in 1994. We're still going back in 1994. Oscar winner in this movie all the time. In and out. He could be one of your favorite actors at the time. Here is the picture.
Forrest Gump. Woo.
All right,
hey,
Forrest.
Easy on me this week, man. I like that.
Well, that's all I got for you guys this week. Thank you. I'm going to now watch Titanic.
Yeah. Bring your tissues.
Get my tissues ready. All right, guys. I appreciate it all this week. We will meet up next week, guys.
All right,
Talk to you later, guys. You got it, man.
Thanks for watching the Zapata Brand podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and listen where all podcasts are available.